My name is Bryan Unkless. I graduated in 2004 at Duke, and while there I was a psychology major and did like the pre-med track. Um, but I took some great courses, some film courses toward the end of my time there. One with Elizabeth Benfey, a directing class, and then a screenwriting class with Andrea Stolowitz, who was a really good playwright. And that helped kind of motivate me to come out here and try to do this business, this job. At first, it was just an adventure, really. It was when I was studying, when I was doing pre-med, it felt like it was a pretty set track. You know, you go to med school, and then you come out the other side of it, and you're a doctor, and everything was just kind of written, and that was a little daunting when I was coming out of school. And always really loved movies. It was not something I felt you could actually do. It was funny, like I didn't have enough access to the industry to really realize that there's people that are making movies. I always thought it was just something that was fun and entertaining. And I think that Andrea and Elizabeth were helpful in making me realize that actually that is a job that you can do. And it felt still really unattainable, but worth the try, and so just kind of took the leap of faith that maybe it would work out. It was a tough first 6 months. It was hard to get a job. I was kind of doing odd jobs here and there. I was working as in like art department on commercials, and I was doing weird things. Like I was in charge of crowd control at poker matches. So I would do weird things like that, and Doug was nice enough to give me an internship at Echo Lake. So that was the first like kind of real job I had. And then after 6 to 9 months working with them, got the job at DreamWorks and working in their story department, which was really exciting. Great job. It was a good experience because you're surrounded by people that are actually making movies at a high level, and so I was just trying to take everything in and learn from them. And it's not the type of thing where people will like take the time and teach you like, hey, this is how you handle this situation. But if you have access to them and you can just watch how they operate and pick it up, and you start learning yourself. The other thing that was great about that job is you have access to their script library. So I would just try to read as many screenplays as possible and get a sense of what's good about them, what's bad about them, and also see deal memos and see notes documents, so you can understand when a studio executive gives notes to a screenwriter, what's the language of that, how do they approach screenwriters, what are good notes, what are bad notes. It's like at that point it was just a time to take in as much as possible and learn more about the movie making process. At that point, I'd been an assistant maybe a year and a half, and then a story assistant a little bit before that. And I was working at a production company at DreamWorks called Parks McDonald. Walter Parks and Laurie McDonald have done movies like Minority Report and Gladiator and Men in Black movies, like just great movies. And so those are like perfect teachers, you know, at that stage of my career. Just learning how they approach story was the best education you could have. And then it just happened that the right opportunity presented itself, where Nina Jacobson, who was running Disney for the last 8 or 9 years prior to that, got let go and was starting her own production company at DreamWorks. And she had come up herself under Walter and Laurie, so she kind of understood what that system was like, and we saw eye to eye on story. And I had a DreamWorks an understanding of the mechanics of DreamWorks, that particular studio, so it was kind of within the family, and so that fit well. And we just really hit it off also in the meetings, and so it was fortunate, and like to this day I think it was probably the best thing that's happened in my career, was that she took a chance on me at that point when she was starting her company. With Hunger Games, it was really just a complete response to the material. And I think at that point we were kind of coming out of Twilight, so people had realized that there was value to YA material, but Hunger Games, for whatever reason, was being overlooked. And I think big part of that is because of the concept of having, teenagers killing each other. It's scary. It's just, if you just read the concept, it's scary from a studio perspective. But once you read the book, you realize it's just incredibly readable and exciting and fun, actually, and has a lot on its mind. It's not exploitative, and the violence isn't gratuitous. It's actually has real perspective on like where we are, I think, from a political perspective right now, and what is media's involvement within like the way that government works, and bread and circuses conversation. And there's a lot of stuff in there that makes it really relevant, and that resonated with me and Nina, and so I shared it with her and she loved it, and we were again, that was great, where we were able to get Suzanne Collins to go with us as producers, and that was the best experience you could ever imagine, especially where I was in my career, to be able to be a part of those books and those movies, and introduce me to so many great people that I've considered like some of the most interesting and great people I've ever met. I love them. So it was a really great group of people working on those movies. While you're at school, when you're at Duke, you really there's no other time in your life where you have the opportunity to pursue your interests in any direction. Anything that you're the least bit curious about, you can go and completely immerse yourself in it and try it on and see if it fits and feels right for you. And that is, so I think that's the task while you're at school is, yes, do the work, like go to class, but I would say almost more important is just become interesting. Like really try to find what it is that speaks to you and be passionate about that, and just go in that direction as far as it takes you. Because that's the most important thing really when you get out in this industry or any industry, is that you genuinely have something driving you and that you're interested in it. So I think that's a big one. It's like you have not only every book at your disposal, but you have the opportunity to travel around the world, to study abroad. You have people that are experts in their fields. If they're not on campus, they're out there in the world. They have some connection to Duke, and you can go and learn from them. And that is a luxury that you don't always have. If you have something inside that says, like, I can do this, go and try this, or this is what I want to do, then listen to that voice and go and do it. Like, go and try to do that. And there are a lot of voices that are going to be saying that there's probably more stable ways to live life, or that there's the job that is like going to pay a better paycheck. Especially if that voice is telling you to work in film, like, it's not easy way to make money, and there's a lot of instability in it. But if you feel like you have something to offer and you really are honest about that with yourself, then go and do it and take that calculated risk, because more often than not, like, if you're really serious about it, there's a place for you. You can do it. There is absolutely a trajectory out here, and if you work hard, you can do it. So it's not as stable, but it'll be more interesting. It's not easy to do it, and it's very competitive. So if you really want to do it, you have to kind of decide what it is as quickly as possible, and then go after it. And go after it like every day, 100%, running through every wall. And you want, when you get the opportunity, just run through it and just do it. And hopefully it's something you're really going to love, and so it's fun, but it's going to be a grind at times. And so it's just kind of putting your head down and actually doing the work, and having the understanding that there are people that know more than you, and knowing who those people are, and surround yourself with them, and watch and listen and learn as much as you can, and take that all in. And then also, though, being honest with yourself of when you feel like you're right. And it's like finding that balance between being deferential and respectful of authority and experience, and still not letting that crowd out your voice inside that is saying, no, this is the direction I need to go, or this is what I need.